Hey everyone, you're listening to the Simple Electronics podcast. I'm your host, Dan from the Simple Electronics YouTube channel. And with me today, I've got a very special guest, Mehdi from the ElectroBOOM channel. How are you, Mehdi?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you.
I just told you a moment ago, but this feels weird. It's like I'm speaking to a YouTube video. Really, it's like exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know, my voice is kind of unique, I guess, and when people hear it, even when I leave text comments, people hear it in my voice. So I don't know.
That's very true. And you're not going to blow anything up on air, are you?
No, I didn't prepare any explosives here,
Good.
unfortunately.
Awesome. Um, I mean, this is great. I've got a ton of questions I'd like to ask you. Um, First thing is, what do you have against free energy devices? I mean, people break laws all the time, like people speed on highways. Why do you have problems with people breaking the laws of physics?
Well, the issue is that nobody has ever been able to break the laws of physics. You can break traffic laws, it's repeatable, and other people can experiment and break it too. But laws of physics, nobody has been able to break it yet. So I'm not against breaking laws, just that, you know, some things are unbreakable, seems like, at least, unless we have a wrong understanding of the laws of physics, in which case we will have to correct them. Other than that, if some things happen from our understanding of the universe, if some laws are broken or breakable, it will create chaos in the entire universe. So, since we don't have such chaos in the entire universe, it seems like those laws have not been broken yet, at least.
I
So,
think
I
those are,
defend them.
yeah, I think those are some of my favorite videos when you go and sort of, debunk the free energy devices, because obviously if anybody actually developed a free energy device, I mean, we would hear about it when it was mass produced because they would mass produce it as soon as possible. They would make
Well, I
billions and
mean,
billions of dollars.
their typical excuse is that, oh, the governments are trying to silence us, and the oil companies kill the people who find free energy and stuff. It's not like every country in the universe has oil in it, or there are a ton of uh, countries that would kill to have free energy devices. Well,
Absolutely. And you know what they say, right? The engineers, the hardest task for an engineer building a free energy device is figuring out where to hide the batteries.
yeah, exactly. There's always some energy source somewhere. They're either having, like, I don't know, like something like an induction heater under the table radiating energy into their circuit to turn it on, or hiding a battery. The device on the video has to run only for 5 seconds for people to believe it, right? So even
Yeah.
if it's a coin cell battery well hidden somewhere, that would be enough. Yeah, it's
And
all
I mean,
fake.
a coin cell battery, and it could push something, because we can design things that are almost unity, right? They're like point 0.8 efficiency or whatever. So a coin cell battery is probably just enough to push it over the edge, even though a coin cell itself doesn't have much energy
Yeah.
instantaneously. It can sustain for a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I think the thought process is pretty cool, but I love the debunking videos because people believe this stuff. I mean, they're getting their evidence from the same platform as David Blaine is doing quote unquote levitations on, right? Like it is what
That's
it
right.
is.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, it's not like people are educated in all different fields so that they can understand everything, right? Even my doctor cousin was asking me about free energy devices, and he was saying, "Are you sure it's not possible?" So it's everyone can have these questions. As long as you are not educated in, like, electronics, you wouldn't know how things work, and you might assume that something like that is possible. But so we have to, I don't know, continuously try to educate people and say it's so. I mean, what else can I say? I just keep saying that free energy is not possible. Isn't that definitive enough? Maybe I don't have enough authority to make people believe, but well,
You know,
we,
it's
we
weird.
keep trying.
You saying that free energy devices don't exist just now. without the editing to make your voice louder and echoey is like completely a different experience. It's it's not the same. It doesn't have the same punch.
That's yeah. I have to have the reverb on it, so it has more authority.
Do you do your own editing? Because I know you used to. Do you still do?
Yeah, I'm still doing it myself. I've been trying to convince myself that maybe it's a good idea to have some other, at least maybe if I can give my clips to someone to do bulk of the work, get rid of all the extra, you know, bits and pieces and clean it up, then I'll add my final touches to it. That might save me some time. But yeah, so far I've been doing it myself. I don't know. I still have to convince myself that if I have someone else do it for me, it's not gonna ruin the style of the video.
I think so. I was listening to. I don't know if you listen to William Osmond's podcast at all, the Safety Third.
Right.
Um, but he talks about the editing process and hiring someone to do editing. And he was talking like you have to like trial something like 10 editors before you get the right one, before you
Yeah.
get someone that watched enough of your videos to understand the feel. And you have to, watch them and watch them and watch them. And then eventually, once they understand, then, they're okay. They can do it by themselves. So it is quite a daunting task. But I mean, you've edited, what is it now, like 50 million video views at this point. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff that an editor can use to be, this is a ElectroBOOM video. But B is like you've put your touch on so many videos that I guess letting go might be difficult.
Yeah. I think it's partly a personality issue too. I can't easily let go of things that I'm doing and have someone else do it for me. But yeah, you're right. It's like if you want to keep the same feeling, it's very hard to find someone that right away does that. And then that's what I think. Like I keep thinking, if I let someone edit my videos, I have to be constantly watching them from behind, which is, I don't know, maybe I have to rent my own office and hire some people so I can very closely control them. But maybe that's not the way to, I don't know. I've never done this before, so
Yeah.
I have to
And
start somewhere.
you're still working out of that little room in your, because you moved semi recently. Like it might be a couple of years ago, but honestly, the last 2 years have flew by for
Yeah.
me. But you're still in that single room studio slash office.
Yes. Well, yeah, my room is like a 10-foot by 10-foot room, and it's quite crowded with all tools and junk and wires and everything.
I
Yeah,
feel you about the junk.
yeah, I only keep the front of the camera clean, and the rest is like a explosion happened here.
Well, explosions do happen there, so there's
Yes.
that.
Yeah, and I don't clean them up, so they remain.
That's awesome. I can't. I usually put on YouTube to go to sleep. I just like the noise, and I cannot put your videos on for that purpose because you'll wake up my
Keep wait.
wife with the because the audio goes really loud when you explode it, right? Which is good. It keeps us paying attention, but at the same time, it's like I'm gonna wake up the wife. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, probably it's a good idea not to go to sleep with like a you won't run a war video when you want to go to sleep, right? You don't you
Very
don't
true.
you don't need to hear explosions.
What do you like? Obviously, I can tell that some of the explosions are definitely not electrical shorts. Do you use pyrotechnics in your videos?
No, they're all electrical.
Are they?
Yeah, they're either capacitors or shorting the power lines and things of that sort.
Wow. And because some of them are very sparky, like they have a lot of like sparks coming out, and they look really like pyrotechnics. So that's awesome. So you're just literally blowing stuff up in front of your face in every one of your videos.
Yeah, I mean, pyrotechnics, I'm not really I don't have experience with pyrotechnics, so if I do that, I'll probably lose a finger and eye too in the process. I'm happy with capacitors, low voltage, small capacitors that they make enough spark, so I don't need to. do anything crazier than that.
And when you have like multimeters, do you actually leave them in current measurement to put them across the mains, or do you just have a hidden capacitor, on top of the multimeter? Or do you want to not tell me?
Well, I mean, the thing is that if I put them in the current and put them in the mains, nothing spectacular happens, right? There is a fuse in them that blows, right?
Yeah,
So I have to
should be.
find ways to make it more exciting.
Oh yeah, it's definitely exciting. And then you see the char marks. That's awesome.
Yes.
I used your video about the hair dryer story, where you're looking for 240 volts in your
Right.
North
Yes.
American kitchen. I use that all the time to show people how kitchen sockets should be wired as of code now. It didn't used to be like that, and how they can potentially run a welder off their kitchen sockets. Because here at my house, for example, my fuse box is full, and I have no 220s that go outside, for example. But an extension cord from the kitchen will do it.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
it's a
I
good
just don't
story.
know if they do that in every kitchen, but yeah, in the apartments I've been, actually, I should go check my house too. Is it? Are they doing it the same way still? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, with two phases,
Yeah. 2 phases.
120 degrees apart. So it's actually, three wires coming through.
Right. Well, it's the
Yeah.
apartments, right? 120 degrees is the apartments. The house, I have 180 degrees out of
Oh,
phase.
180. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
possible too. True. Very true. Because yeah, the apartment has three phase
Yeah.
coming
Coming
in,
in.
whereas a
Yes.
house has two phase coming in, I think.
Yeah. I
Is that
think
right?
they just use a like a step down transformer with center tap. So they step it down to 240 with a center tap that to get 220s, which are 180 degrees out of phase. So that's I think what they do in houses.
Yeah. Yeah.
In
But
apartments, there's just three phase goes directly to the
but you're in a house now though. You've
yeah,
upgraded.
yeah, like
And
two
the only
years ago
way
or
I
something.
Yeah, the only way I know that is because you had the Tesla video, which you had a garage,
Right.
and then you
Yes.
had the heater. You ran a heater outside as well, so that's pretty neat. You upgraded. Is that only by YouTube income, if you don't mind me asking, or do you work on the side as well?
No, it's just YouTube income. Fortunately, the channel is big enough to support more expensive endeavors.
That's awesome because you are a card carrying engineer, if I'm not mistaken, right?
A card carrying engineer? What is
Leg-
that?
I mean, like a legitimate engineer,
Oh, right.
like you
Yes.
went to school and you got a degree
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have my bachelor in telecommunications and my master's in microelectronics.
in telecoms. Interesting. Did you work for the for the famed Rogers? Now that the whole world knows who Rogers is, now that they went down for a whole day.
Oh yeah, they went down. No, I did. That's not my doing, but
No, I know that. Although a video
uh,
of you messing with a telecom box would be hilarious.
yeah, talk to my lawyer. It wasn't me. No, yeah, I took my like my bachelor's degree. I received it in Iran, and then I worked there for 2 years in a telecommunication manufacturing company. Like mostly I don't know. It's all electronics, anyways. But like, yeah, like telecommunications. Then I moved to Canada and got my master's here, and then worked in different fields. Not telecommunication necessarily here, but
Do you
pretty much
mind?
everything.
Yeah, do you mind telling us what kind of fields you worked in here?
Well, here first I worked in VTech. VTech. They beside the toys, they make cordless phones too. They make a lot of cordless phones.
Yeah, back when cordless phones still had to be corded somewhere. Yep.
Yes. So there, then I worked in another company called Pacific Design Engineering (PDE), and they were like a contract designer company. So basically, I worked in on many different projects from aviation, medical, automotive, because our customers were random. Whatever they wanted us to design, we would design for them. And then I worked in C Star Solutions, that now the name is Dometic, I think a bigger company bought them. So, and there they would make control equipment for boats, like the electronic steering helm, controlling the cylinders of the engines and things of that sort. Whatever electronic board that would go in them, I would design them. Yeah, well, me and my colleagues. But
That sounds like a nightmare to design for a boat because not only does it have to be vibration resistant, like in a automotive application, but you also have to deal with the salty conditions too.
yeah, that. But so what we did was like we potted the whole thing, right? Everything we designed, we like drowned them in thick potting, so it wouldn't, like, the salt water wouldn't get in there. And still, we had problems too, like the vibration wise. If the potting was too solid, the vibration would break the components with the, especially when the potting gets very heavy, it would vibrate and just break the components of the board. So you would have to go with a specific, like, potting material that was flexible and jiggly, things of that sort. Yeah, yeah, we had to meet some very strict criteria to be able to use it on the boats.
Yeah, that sounds like an absolute nightmare. I'm glad it was someone else and not me. Basically,
Yeah,
I work in automotive. I'm an automotive technician by trade, and I may also teach automotive apprentices.
right.
And I have to explain to people that, like, yes, cars break down a lot, but there are so many mechanical parts and electronic parts that have to all work together to make it work
Hmm.
that like it's a miracle that they don't break more often, really.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
true.
it's insane because even if you look at like multi-layer ceramic capacitors, right? Something you can buy 1,000 of for like a dollar something from China. You can't use those in automotive applications. You have to use the specific ones for that were vetted for automotive applications because of the high vibration nature. They have to be like decoupled in such a way that they won't like break the thin layers. I mean, to try to explain to my apprentices what the engineers have to go through in order to design something that will actually hold up as long as it did is ridiculous. So I have the utmost respect for design engineers for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely those are, especially in cars, I think it's a little bit harder. I assume boats on water are, like, they ride smoother than the cars on the roads. So maybe there's more vibration on the cars too.
Yeah,
But yeah,
possibly, but
like,
you've got those big diesel engines too, so
yeah,
and
if
they're
anything
rigidly
goes on
mounted.
those, it's like
Yeah,
shake them to death.
exactly.
And especially those running on 12-volt or 24-volt batteries, if something on the power line breaks, and say the PCB, if the layers break and, power lines short, you will have fires potentially. So you have to be very careful with what you're doing there.
And you don't really have a protective earth in a boat either, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, the hull of the boat is can work as the earth, but it's not really
Yeah, a lot
earth
of
to
boats
earth.
are, yeah, they're just, fiberglass mostly. There are some metal boats too, but they're fiberglass in general, so you don't have earth for sure.
So yeah, things like stray capacitance must become a problem, and ESD must become a problem.
Yeah, well, we typically feed it back to ground, which goes to the battery, and, and a whole lot of capacitances that, basically dampen the spike, make it smaller. And I think in every bolt, eventually they somehow connect the ground of the battery, the negative of the battery, to something that touches water.
Interesting. So they have
So
like a
eventually
pole or
it's
something.
grounded to the salt water. I think there is something. Yeah, it's funny that I all the time I worked there, I didn't actually look into it to see where it connects. But
But you were looking at design specs, though, design standards, right? That's why.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, so in a lot of cases you don't have ground. Like, for example, even the cordless phone, you're only holding it in your hand. You don't really have a ground connection in those. So if ESD jumps from your finger to the phone, you don't need a ground to direct it to. You just need big capacitors to make the spike shorter. I mean, as long as the entire voltage of the board moves together, you don't have any problem on the board, right?
Correct. If it's yeah, you got a problem when you've got a differential when like one
That's
side of
right.
the board versus the other one builds up a charge. Yeah.
That's right. Then it jumps through the board. Otherwise, there is no, without a potential, there is no dangerous voltage on the board.
Is is this like okay, so you're an engineer and then you decide to make a YouTube video at some point. Is that your first video I'm looking at right now? Don't worry, it's just ESD, the one
Yeah.
where you're zapping a box. That's
Yeah,
your very
that's the
first one?
first one. Yeah. Before that, I was trying to, I always wanted to somehow share my knowledge on the web and communicate with people about it. It was always interesting for me to talk about electronics to other people. So first I made a website and tried to, just make some posts about what is a voltage, what's a current, but it became boring quickly. Especially since Wikipedia was my competitor and they were
Yeah.
way ahead of me. So I let go of that, and then after a while, when YouTube came out, I realized that some of my friends are making videos like on different subjects. Some of them, like one of my friends was one of those channels that would go 10 facts about this, 10 facts about that. I thought, hey, it's interesting to make a video. So I had the idea in the back of my mind until I got my hands on an ESD gun. And I remembered everything bad that happened to me while using the gun. And I thought to myself, hey, why don't I just make a video about it and show the bad things that can happen to you using an ESD gun? And that's my first video I made. Yeah.
And it's so legendary because you can see that it just set the stage, right? Like you're basically hurting yourself for science. Like do as I say, not as I do type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
The formula is incredible. Like you get so many people who are who have no knowledge of electricity and electronics coming and paying attention for the entertainment factor and then ending up learning something. I mean, it's just such an incredible format.
Yeah, I think so too, because like it's very hard to keep people's attention on just, educational stuff that could be boring to a lot of people. Like, for example, if for me, it doesn't matter. Like, if I want to know something, it doesn't matter if the video is boring or not, or the information is boring. I would find it interesting because I need the information. But for general masses that don't care about that information, they would click away. So I thought, hey, if I make it interesting, they would still watch and learn something in the process too.
Well, I definitely did. I was always terrified of AC voltage, but now thanks to your help, I am even more
Oh, good, good.
terrified of AC voltage.
I thought you were going to say I was terrified, but now I'm not terrified at all, which is
No,
the
no.
opposite of what. Yeah, if that happens, that would be bad. I don't want people to get too comfortable with high voltage.
Yeah, if some people are listening and they only catch a couple of Mehdi's videos, I would say Mehdi shows himself getting hurt multiple times. So it like obviously it's for the excitement factor, but you do get hurt, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you actually get shocked, it's very painful. And once I almost killed myself in the process too, accidentally.
Yeah, we can talk about that. You talked with Daniel from Keysight
Yeah.
about that. There is a time where you almost killed yourself. Can you walk us through what happened?
Well, like any other idiot, I accidentally touched 2000 volts coming out of a microwave transformer. And, I was just lucky that my wires were loose. And when my muscles contracted, I pulled the wires off the transformers and disconnected it right away. Otherwise, I would have been cooked. Very painful. Yes, that's why. Like, actually, YouTube started removing, a lot of experiments that are done with the microwave oven transformers because actually people died using them. I
Oh,
was, I
they're
was the
terrifying.
one. Yeah, and I was the one lucky enough to survive.
Yeah, let's be very very clear. If you do not know what you're doing,
Yes.
do not mess with microwave transformers. They're able to give uh no the issue is that they're good. They make high voltage at a reasonable amount of current, right? That's the
Yeah,
problem.
I mean, you can assume that like they have enough power to cook food and burn it too, right? So they will do that to you if you're not careful.
Yeah. So and you were making like a Jacob's ladder with it, right? Is that what it was? I don't
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
now.
I was making a Jacob's ladder. I needed high voltage, although even the voltage wasn't high enough for the Jacob's ladder. And I tried to design a mechanical stand for the Jacob's ladder, and I'm not a mechanical engineer, so I didn't think it through. And the Jacob's ladder ended up falling on me. And it was funny; it was happening in slow motion too. So it was falling. I mean, I thought, oh, it shouldn't touch my body. It has high voltage, so let's grab it with my hands. As if my hands are different than my torso, for example. I just held each each side of the voltage with one hand, and it just went through my entire body. And
Did you
terrible.
did you feel it go through your body?
Well, I mean, probably you feel something that is killing you. So yes, I felt it. Yeah,
Crazy.
I felt it in my head and my chest and everywhere. Like you hold it with your hand, but I could feel it in my brain. It was like a swoosh of some sort of cold wave running through my brain. And then my body, and I just yelled and threw it away and just laid down on the ground for half an hour recovering from the trauma. And I filmed the rest of the video the next day. So the next scene you see that I'm shaking, it's like the next day, not right after.
It's crazy. I've watched that video a couple times, especially after you spoke to Daniel about it, because yeah, it is terrifying that I mean, you rewatch it, you can clearly see your focus, and it kind of happens in slow motion in the video as well. I'm sure it felt slower to you, but you can see that it's falling, and I can tell that it's really falling because you're focused on it, and then yeah, you reach out and grab it, and I mean that did not look fun. Uh, and
if
then the
i
wires
if I had
shorted.
grabbed it with one hand, it would be nothing. I grabbed it
Yeah,
with two hands. Well, it would be something. It would definitely burn my finger. Like you can see in the video, where the metal touches my hand, there is a big spark just
yeah,
from the current going from the rod to my finger. So I lost a bunch of skin there. It just blew up.
yeah. That is scary, and I'll speak for the entire audience here. We're glad that you're still here to talk about it.
Yeah, thanks. I wish I hadn't done it, but I guess it's another educational thing for the rest of the people not to try it.
That's right. That's right. And I think was it Big Clive did a video about the microwave transformers, because some people were literally dying just trying to make I can't pronounce it, the Lichtenstein patterns on wet wood,
Yeah,
where basically you burn like a lightning thing, and
yeah,
people literally die from that. So people listening to this, please do not mess with microwave transformers
yeah. I mean, you
unless
can
you know.
imagine even me having a degree in electronics didn't help. So, like, if people out there don't have or have little knowledge of electronics, they better not try it at all. It's like one of the most dangerous things you can do.
Yeah, I have a microwave transformer here, which I'm keeping to hollow out and make a welder. And
Right.
so the basic theory, but for people listening, is basically you remove the secondary winding, which basically turns your 110 or 220 volts into whatever the hell you need for a microwave, maybe a couple
Yeah, it's a
tens of
2000
thousands.
volts
Oh,
AC.
2000. Okay, so
Yeah.
not even that much. So you just hollow it out, and then you put in 2 or 3 turns of really thick wire,
Yeah.
and instead of bringing up the voltage and down the current, you're bringing down the voltage and up the current, so you can make a welder out of it. So that's why I kept I kept a microwave transformer here, but
Yes.
in no way am I ever going to plug it into the wall the way it is right now. It's just not going to
Yeah.
happen.
It's like super dangerous. Just leave
Very
it to me.
dangerous. Yeah, exactly. Do what Mehdi says, not what Mehdi does,
That's
basically.
right. Yes.
How you know what? Every single one of your videos is like it's not only informative, but it's really entertaining. Is that come natural to you, or do you have to work at it? Like, are you just an entertaining person in general, or do you really have to plan out your videos to be so?
Am I entertaining? I don't find myself very entertaining. Like, I've seen videos from entertaining people that's, they are quick witted in general, right? They can come up with funny stuff right away, and they don't need to think too much about what they want to do. They're just funny. I'm not like that, right? I'm not only my brain runs on a slower clock, English is my second language too, right? So it's very hard to come up with something funny right away. So in a lot of my videos, when if it's something known that I want to talk about, I usually write a script and I keep reading it until I come up with some funny joke or a funny way to do it. And I try to add as many misfortunes in the script. Anything that can go wrong, I'll try to find it and put it there,
Do,
for
do you,
entertainment and educational values. And then I do it. But there are some videos that I can't have a script for all of it, or at least, for example, these travel videos that I do. I just travel and do experiments and things happen. So, like, if I have enough time, eventually something good will come out of it. But if I don't have enough time, like a lot of other YouTubers that just sit in front of the camera, talk for an hour and two, and then edit it shorter, they come up with a lot of good content to put out. I'm not like that. I need time to.
yeah, famously, Dave Jones is off the cuff. He does not do any scripting. He doesn't even know what video he's going to do when he starts. Like when he starts his day, he has no idea. He told me literally he sits in his lab, he watches YouTube a little bit, and then he's like, okay, time to make a video. And he'll look around the lab, see what interests him, and then pull it out and make a video on it. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, that's like, if you can do that, yeah. I mean, he's well spoken too. He speaks easily. He doesn't, stutter like I do, and he doesn't forget his lines. It comes more natural to him, right? For me, it can't, like, I try to find subjects that are more exciting to me and the viewer. Like, so it takes a while for me to come up with something that I like to do for a video. It's I can't just pick up something and do it. It's, I don't know. My mental capability doesn't let me.
Yeah, I completely get you there. But the stuff you do come up with is gold. And I especially appreciate the 101 series where you actually went through all of the basics and explained them in your own candor, in your own style, with the whiteboard and everything. It works very, very well. And I actually use the video on rectification. I'm not sure if that was a 101 or if that was part of a larger video, but I use it when I teach alternators to the students because alternators produce an AC current that
Right.
that is internally rectified with a six diode, typically a six diode full bridge rectifier into a DC current. So
Right.
yeah, I use that all the time. So at least I would say 80 of those views are from my students. So you're welcome for the 40 cents or so.
Thanks. The actually, the six diode ones is not a full bridge rectifier. It's an even fuller bridge rectifier.
Oh no, I messed up the terms.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
then what was it like? There was like a 10 diode or something that was the mother of all full bridge rectifiers. So yeah, those are the scientific names for these rectifiers.
Yep. Well, I mean, once they're on a T-shirt, it's not a lie. So
Exactly.
there you go. Yeah, so thank you a lot for the 101 series because although I learned a lot from your regular videos, except for some of the videos I have to watch in a smaller window, so it's less scary when things explode. Um, the 101 series is really cements you as like the as a core explainer of these concepts, which does not come natural to anybody. Like it doesn't come natural to me, at least. I needed videos like that when I was learning as well.
Oh, thanks. It's good to know that they come handy to you and some people that are watching. I like for me, there are more serious, more technical videos, and I find myself struggling making them because I don't find them as entertaining. I guess when I'm making a video, I want it to entertain myself too.
Which
So
makes sense.
they are a little bit harder for me to make. But on the other side, I felt that I have to make them because I know some people will find them more useful. So I push through making those, and uh, for sure they have less views of compared to my other videos, and I know that. I just feel like I have to do it. If I have something useful to share, it makes sense to share it anyway.
Well, less views, yes, you're right in the context of your channel, but at the same time, you still, I mean, they're still pretty good in the context of the general YouTube space. Weren't they all at least 500,000 each? Oh no, here we go. 4.2 million, 2.9 million, 1
Which
million.
one? I don't think the ElectroBOOM 101s have that many views. Do they?
Well, I see AC versus DC, which I know
Oh,
it's not a 101,
oh,
really.
okay.
Those definition of voltage and current, I think, is your highest 101, which is just under a million views. But
Right.
I mean, well
Yeah, they are
earned.
not bad, I guess. And over time, the thing about such videos is that they don't get views right away. They don't have a big spike like the other stupid videos I do. The funny thing is that like the more stupid the video is, the more views it gets, and the more technical it is, the
100%.
less, of course. And so the spike is smaller in those. But the thing is that these kind of videos, uh, it's what they call them evergreen. So there's always somebody that is searching to understand these concepts of electronics. So over time, over a long period of time, they will continue building views rather
I
than other videos that like somebody watches them once and there is no searchability. Like why would you search for, like in 10 years, who would search for a Minecraft video, for example?
Exactly, and I completely agree with you because I made a basics of transistors video, just basically what I teach my students, that kind of level where how to use a transistor as a switch and how to use an NPN versus a PNP. And it took 1 year and 224 days for it to actually do better than my average video. And
Right.
so far now it's actually getting views like at a reasonable rate. So it's basically a period of like maybe 4 months now that it's actually been getting decent views after it's been
Right.
released for a year and 2/3. So that's the game. It's the long game. When you have something interesting that's searchable,
Hmm.
it takes a while. Now I'm not pulling down ElectroBOOM numbers on this video, but I was proud of that video, and I think I answered you tweeted something like, "Do you guys script videos?" And I answered your tweet and I said, "Well, the scripted videos that I make are the ones I'm the most proud of, but no one else seems to care because that's the deal, right? People want to
Yeah.
be entertained first and foremost."
Yeah. For those videos, especially the educational ones, they need to be scripted because you have to make. Well, for me at least, I want to make sure that the flow of what the information I'm giving out is good for everyone to understand it. So like I keep reading the script for those and make sure that, like, even after I make the video, I realize that hey, if I take this clip and put it behind that clip, it's more understandable. So those are harder to make too, especially to. make it better.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they don't get
And
views. Well,
no,
not as much views as the other ones.
I was surprised that your travel vlogs are doing so well. Like, obviously, there's a little bit of mischief in them, but and I also have a conspiracy theory that you're just making them in order to, tax expense your
Yes.
your trips for your whole family. But like, I see the Italy video got 1.1 million views in 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yes. Yeah. That's the thing about the videos. I can never guess which subject would have more views than the other one. So I just keep doing them, and all of a sudden I realize that hey, my travel videos are getting more views than regular videos. So maybe I should travel more.
I
And
think
you're right
so.
about taxes too.
Oh, am I? So it's not actually a conspiracy theory. It's
No,
just
no, no.
what you're doing.
Well, of course, when you do something and you make more money than if you didn't do it, that's a business trip, right?
Oh, I agree. I totally agree. That's
So
but
yeah,
I mean that's awesome. Ride the wave while you can, and I'm sure your wife and daughter won't mind either.
yeah. No, I mean, my wife was telling me this time that hey, stop filming, let's just enjoy. But
Well, yeah, she could have cost you 1.1 million views. Jeez.
yeah, no, I try to be mindful of that too, so I don't film very often and try not to interfere with the travel plans. But every time we come home to rest, and I have a little bit of time, I film a little bit and then do the rest like next day. For example, like in my Italian video, you see that I show something for I don't know 20 seconds, and then I'm showing like travel clips because I left it and went out halfway, and then I come back for the rest of it.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so
Um,
yeah, like I also on the tax front, I was going to make a short video about that on my meditation channel because I see a lot of people comment that hey, you're trying to save on taxes and stuff. But that while that is true, I think me not making a video about it and not making money out of say my video costs more for the government and other
it
people too.
does. It does. It does.
So I
Like
think
I
it's a
know
win-win for everyone. Like when I do something with my trips, everyone makes more money.
I don't even like I honestly make laughable money off YouTube. But when I file my taxes or whatever, like they end up getting a chunk of it. So I mean, they
Yeah,
always get a chunk of it. And hey, if Walmart gets to deduct when some dum dum drops eggs on the ground, then I get to deduct when I order stuff from AliExpress to make my videos happen. Like it,
yeah,
it
yeah.
just
That's
is
right.
what it
Yeah.
is.
No, that's true. It's all business expenses, anyways. Like you are putting time and effort and material in making something that makes you money. If you're going to pay taxes on that, then the work you did or the cost you had to go through to make that is also a business expense too, right?
Absolutely. And you also collaborated with one of my favorite YouTubers. You went over to Linus Tech Tips and you
Yeah.
made a video with him. What? How did that go? How was the whole process?
Well, he's actually local, relatively. He's like lives or works in the city beside me, so he's pretty close. And I I don't remember how it started, but we started communicate over the email, and at some point he had this idea of if I can bring a ESD gun and test some computer components with him. So that's what we did.
So what were you okay, so when someone like Linus reaches out, it's much different than when someone like me reaches out to do a podcast. Like for example, if you were to reach out to me, I would be like as hyped as possible. Did you feel like how do you feel when someone like Linus reaches out to you? Because I think you guys could you could be on a celebrity boxing match. You guys are close enough in fame.
Of course, I can beat him easily in a celebrity boxing match, but
Well, of course. Yeah, he's small.
yes, I'm like I don't know 2 tons. I'm very heavy. I just need to move my weight a little bit around and I beat him up. So it's easy. If he takes this as a challenge, we can do it for real. But
You hear that, Linus? Is it
yes,
on?
yes, let's do well, celebrity is a big word, but a boxing match.
Hey, amongst the youth, you guys are more celebrity than someone like, I don't know, uh, some old actor, that used to be a massive celebrity. Probably like you're probably more famous among the 20 and lower people than Brad Pitt is, for example.
Maybe, I don't know. Hopefully, I am.
And maybe, maybe in the ladies above 40 too, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Well, especially me, I'm not a young YouTuber. Typically, YouTubers are young. I like between the YouTubers, I'm kind of old actually, being 45.
And which is not, it's not particularly old, but you're right, the demographic is quite skewed younger. I feel so personally, I'm 33. I don't know, I
Mhm.
can't do the math anymore.
Just maybe.
33ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my demographic skews actually quite high because I'm not particularly entertaining. I'm more focused on hobby electronics,
Yeah.
and those folks tend to be a little bit older. Sorry, folks, if I'm offending you, but it just, you know who you are. Um,
You know you are old.
yeah, exactly. Pretty much. Uh, yeah, so I'm looking at my demographics here. My core demographics are 25 to 54. So
Right.
that's where I have the majority of my viewers. But you, however, you show up everywhere. I see people basically re-uploading your content on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, and with captions like "This guy is an idiot," and then you look at the comments, and the comments are like, "Actually, that's Mehdi. He's brilliant. So watch yourself." It's actually pretty funny to see whenever that happens.
Yeah,
Did you experience that?
I should thank my viewers that find these contents and leave a comment there and make me look good. Thank you.
Well, that's the thing, right? Even people rag on Linus for dropping things all the
Right.
time, but I mean, you need to understand that this is part of the entertainment factor. Like,
Exactly. Yes.
you have to have a modicum of skill in order to appear to be not skilled. Like, I can see through it. I've seen enough of your videos. I know you know what you're talking about, so I see it a little bit differently. But yeah, someone taking an out of context clip of you putting a multimeter in a socket and having it explode, I mean, that's the whole point. They're missing the gag. The joke's on them.
Out, which is what I'm aiming for too. If people can believe that I'm doing things for real, I have achieved my goal.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Although
Uh,
I mean, I wouldn't say the same thing for free energy people. I don't want people to think they are doing things for real. So mine is only for entertainment value. I'm not trying to,
I mean,
make
I think
any.
yeah, you're not making any false claims. I do, you do make sure that everyone knows, like, don't do this. And like, for example, your heated seat, I think after people see it stuck to your bum and burning you, I don't think they want to do it in the first
Yeah. Yeah,
place.
so that's the goal. I try to exaggerate what could happen to you too, so it looks more dangerous, which is has a more discouraging value.
Do you have like you've done pretty much like all the fun stuff I could ever think of, and then some. Do you like how do you think of these things, and what's next for you? I mean, there's only so much voltage you can go up to. Are you gonna borrow one of those lightning strike testers, or I don't know what's the deal?
Yeah, that's the problem. Like when you do the same shtick forever, you run out of ideas. That's a problem too. That's why nowadays sometimes you see my videos are a little bit more educational than explosive because I can't just blow everything up anymore. But not necessarily they get little views. Like for example, I made a video about 5G. Talked about 5G. There is barely, I don't think I exploded anything in that video, but it got very good views compared to my other videos. So it's encouraging for me, which means I don't have to, rely on the same thing over and over to be a successful YouTuber. I like I can be it liberates me to come up with new ideas, do it, and I still know that it is entertaining to people and people find it interesting to watch.
And then at worst, you can always just start a feud with another YouTuber like you did with Steve Mold or with that PhD professor, although I think one was more fun than the other.
Yes. And I did a video with Veritasium too. I think that those
Oh, you
series
did.
were
It's
good.
true.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
can I possibly forget that? Because Veritasium created a rift in the YouTube electronics community. Everybody had to make a video responding to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was probably like a good idea on Veritasium's part to make such rift.
And to
It's not bad too. Like a lot of people, like for example, even me had to go relearn a lot of things that I had forgotten to be able to come back and say something about it. So it was good for everyone. Everyone started learning.
and a lot of the issues arose because of his wording, because he said 1 over
See,
C
yes,
instead of 1 meter
yeah.
over
It
C.
it was less of a problem for me. I understood that he just meant the value,
Yes.
not necessarily the. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people took offense to many different aspects of his video.
It was a good idea on your part, though, to just loop the ends of an Ethernet cable because you can get them in 1,000-meter reels or whatever you use, 1,000 feet, 1,000 meters, something like
Yeah,
that.
1,000 feet, yeah.
So that was actually pretty smart. And obviously, being low current, you won't have I squared R losses as badly as if you were to try to actually light a full on light bulb at the end.
Right, that's right. Yeah, and that was the point of Veritasium too. I don't think he ever meant you can turn on a full-on light bulb. What he meant to say was, there is right away when you close the switch, there will be some energy at the load, which could be a resistive load.
For
But
sure.
the way he framed it, he showed a real light bulb, and right away I thought, hey, there is not enough energy to turn that on.
Yeah, not a shot, especially not from 12 volts, because then you're dealing with I squared R losses, and
Yeah, yeah.
and there you go. Yeah, but Steve Mold, however, that was more of a because he's more of a mechanical type guy. So you were really sticking your neck out in an area where you're not actually an expert on.
And I lost too.
Yeah, I know, but
Which is fine.
however, yeah, it is fine. But you did get, what was it, 3 videos out of it, 2 videos.
Yeah, 3 videos each, I think. Yeah.
And I'm seeing one has 1 million, one has almost 900,000 views, and I don't know where the last one is. I can't see. Your thumbnails are pretty entertaining, but they're a little busy. So yeah, you got a couple million views out of it, so there you go. Always good.
Yeah, not bad. It was a good series that ended up educating me about how this chain thing works. Yeah, we were not supposed to make a video about it. I was just talking back and forth with Steve that, hey, why do you think this works? I don't think it's for that reason you said. And he couldn't explain to me, like, he couldn't, what was the word? Convince me that the way he thought it worked actually was the case. And I was going back and forth. And he suggested, oh, let's make a video about it and let's see what people say.
Oh, there we go. I found the other one. So yeah, 1.2, 1 million, and 866,000. So yeah, and again, I learned about something that I've seen that demo multiple times, but I guess I never put 2 and 2 together that there's a mechanism behind it that is debatable, because it was debatable. You guys both had valid hypotheses for what was going on there. So
And
it's
it was
pretty
funny that,
interesting.
yeah, like after the first video, I made everyone was convinced that I'm right. And
Yep.
then he made the second video and everyone was convinced that he was right. So I made a second video and everyone again, I could probably sway a bunch of people to my side again. But well, I mean, that's not the goal of the scientific debate. You don't want to just convince people of something. You want to be right, right? You don't
Correct.
want to just throw out false information. So at some point I realized that I'm seeing effects that point towards that Steve is correct. So I was trying to come up with ideas how to test it to prove he's right. So in like in his last video he made, he did an experiment that, you know we were talking about the fact that when you throw the chain actually pushes back on the surface, and it was
Hmm.
very hard to measure in real time. But I figured that if we do it on a horizontal surface, just pulling the chain, if there's any force pushing back, we should be able to see it because we are removing any other gravitational forces.
Yeah,
And
you turned it on
that
its side, literally.
and that worked. So I just made the
Yeah.
last video to say that, hey, I was wrong.
It it I mean, they were good videos, regardless of the content. Like, they were made well, the content was good. So, hey, everybody wins, like you said.
Yeah, it's fun too.
Yeah, because again, it probably worked your brain in different ways, right? Because you had to problem solve, like, how are you going to demonstrate this?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
as a professor, I do the same thing because, yeah, I can start an engine on a stand, but how do I actually show how it's working on the inside? What mechanisms can I reduce it to? It's a challenge.
Yeah, yeah, especially for me, like I've been away from school for so long, I've pretty much forgotten all my complex math things, like all the mathematical methods and equations and stuff. I don't remember them. I have to go relearn them if I need to use them. So I think it's the same case for a lot of people. They either haven't gone through the education or they have been away long enough to forget. And so for me to transfer knowledge to them, I try my best to stay away from complex math. And if you can see something working in real time, it makes more sense. Like I try to design circuits. I use like some math, not too complex math, to design my circuits, but at the same time I try to be intuitive. I try to have a good feeling about how circuit behaves. When you have a good feeling about your circuits, like you actually feel the electron. You can put yourself in a wire's shoe and see how it can radiate. When you can do that, it would be also you would have enough knowledge to, that kind of knowledge to transfer it to other people so they would understand it easier too.
I don't remember who said it. I think it was Feynman. It was a physicist, anyways, who said if you don't understand a concept well enough to explain it to someone, then you don't understand it at all,
To a
basically.
5-year old, I think he said, huh?
Or a
Transfer.
5-year-old. Okay, that's
Yeah,
possible. Yeah,
I think,
there we
yeah,
go.
yeah,
See,
that's the case. if you
showing your
if you
beautiful
can
mind again.
yeah, if you can explain it really to a 5-year-old, then that's true. You know that thing inside and out. And one of the things that I don't understand, and I really want to know it so I can talk about it to my viewers, is magnetism. I saw a couple of videos from, say, Veritasium and the Science Asylum that they were talking about how magnetism is just, because of the Einstein's theory of relativity and the electrons moving and the space between them contracts because they move. There will be from a stationary observer of those electrons, it seems like there is excess electrons in the wire. So that looks like magnetism to the outside people. But I don't understand it well enough to talk about it. Like I watched their videos, I even talked to them about it, and again, I wasn't able to grasp it. So that's something I'm stuck on. If anyone out there knows it well, because when you talk to people, at the end of the day, when it comes to quantum physics and such, they throw equations at you. Like they say, oh, this equation explains it. But that's not how I want to explain something. you know
No, That's having the ability to reason it, but it's not having the ability to explain it.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I don't want to look at an equation and say, "Oh, okay, so this equation says it, then this must be true." I want to be able to see it. If I can see it, I can show it to other people too.
Yeah, and so Feynman was explaining this concept to an interviewer, and just for the audience to understand what Mehdi is talking about. So Richard Feynman says, "I can't explain that attraction in terms of anything. I can't explain that attraction in terms of anything else that's familiar to you. For example, if I said that magnets could attract things like as if they were connected by rubber bands, I would be cheating you because they're not connected by rubber bands. And if you were curious enough, you'd ask me why rubber bands tend to pull back together again. And I would end up explaining that in terms of electrical forces, which are the very things I'm trying to use rubber bands to explain. So I've cheated very badly, you see." So Richard Feynman is a physicist who could not explain magnetism and in a simple way, and this is what Mehdi is struggling with too. Um, the thing is, to understand magnetism to a deep level, you kind of have to be like a particle physicist, because it's really it's deep into material science at that point. So it's not a simple thing.
Yeah, it confuses me to no end.
I'm lucky. All I have to explain to my students are that a current in an electrical in a conductor will create a magnetic field. Permanent magnets create magnetic fields, and if you move a conductor through a magnetic field, you create current. That's basically what I have to explain to my students. That's what they need to know to pass their license exams, and so I'm
And
lucky.
imagine I come to your class and say, "Hey, by the way, magnetic fields are not real."
Yeah, because they sort of aren't. That's the thing.
Yeah, they're basically just a shadow of electric fields, apparently.
Which is, yeah, way more complicated than I think my students would be pulling their hair at that point. So they just need to know how, electric motors and alternators work,
Yeah,
and how inductive current clamps work, and then they're happy.
yeah.
That's it.
Like at the end of the day, I always tell myself, "Oh, ignorance is a bliss. Let's just assume there are such things as magnetic fields and live with them."
Exactly. Yeah, so wow, time passed really fast. I typically keep these around an hour, and we're just passing the hour mark now. Now, I have a much smaller audience than you do, but is there any parting words of wisdom you'd like to tell my audience about?
Well, keep listening to your master, Mr. Simple Electronics.
I am nobody's master.
Well, I'm trying to make you a master. Come on, let me do
Okay,
it.
okay. So
And
if
then,
you,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
if you declare me to be the master, then I'll take it.
sure, you're the master now.
Here we go. That's going up on my YouTube description.
Yes. And yeah, I mean,
Definitely
well,
go watch ElectroBOOM's videos. That's for
well,
sure.
thank you. And yeah, I mean, it's just, there is a saying in my native language, like from back in Iran, they say, like, seek knowledge no matter where it is in the world. Like, I don't know, back then, like it's from 1,000 years ago where people couldn't travel. So like China and Iran were very far apart. So like in Iran or in like Middle East, they would say seek knowledge even if it is in China. So even if you have to go that far to learn something, do it. So
Yeah.
yeah, do
And
it.
also, I would recommend that people go onto Mehdi's videos and click some of the links, because he gets a little bit of a kickback. I assume you still have a kickback when you go sign up to Curiosity Stream and stuff like that. So if you want to support Mehdi, you want to see more videos, he already has mechanisms for that. And I think you also have a Patreon, right?
Yeah, I do have a Patreon. It's ElectroBoom Patreon, yeah.
So if you want to pressure Mehdi into making more videos, that's probably the easiest way to do it. Become a become a Patreon supporter, and then send him DMs. Say, hey, where's the videos? Come on, we want to see you blow stuff up.
Yeah, and just to clarify about the kickback you were mentioning, I don't get a kickback.
No?
No,
Oh,
the way it works with the sponsors is that, like, they pay you once for advertisement, right? And
Okay.
then if people visit them through my link more, it convinces them that I have been effective, so they will come back to me for a second sponsorship, for example.
Oh,
That's how
okay.
it works typically.
Then click the links, folks, because we
Well, I
want
mean, if
Mehdi to
it's, yeah.
stay paid. Because I mean, if you have to get a day job, the video frequency is going to go down, I assume.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I don't want to get a day job. Yeah, YouTube
Right.
is much more convenient. You're on your own schedule. You're, doing the stuff that interests you and your audience, and you get to communicate with a lot of interesting people. So that's definitely.
I'm the opposite. I would teach 80 hours a week if they would allow me to, but I only get contracts a couple times a year. So for me, it's feast and famine, and I'm glad YouTube has been sort of filling in the gaps
Right.
for now. But in the summer, my views fall precipitously. So I can't wait until the Christmas rush again.
Yeah, and everyone's interest is different. I can't say everyone enjoys making YouTube videos. I know a lot of kids think that it's everyone's goal to make YouTube. No, it's not. Some people enjoy, doing something else. This yeah, doing the YouTube is something I enjoy. So don't force yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I love it too. But it doesn't pay the bills yet. That's the difference. If I could do it full time, I would. I totally
Yeah.
would.
Oh,
But for
definitely.
the moment, like teaching that's my jam. And yeah, the college is just like, yeah, funding is so and so. So maybe we'll hire you this year, maybe not. Who knows?
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's why it's been iffy.
And YouTube was the same for me too. It took me, I don't know, 6, 7 years before I was big enough for the money from YouTube to sustain my life and my family life. And I'm quite conservative too. I wasn't going to throw my wife and daughter's life in hardship just to pursue YouTube, right? So I took time. It took me 6, 7 years to get to somewhere safe to be able to just work on
Your
YouTube
da-
only.
your daughter's getting older now. Is she interested in following in your footsteps, or is she going to get a what old people would call a real job?
Well, she hasn't been. She's not super interested. I think she's interested a little bit, but not super interested. Like, haven't shown massive excitement towards going on social media and become an influencer or anything. She just wants to live her life like a regular kid right now. She goes to school, has fun with her friends and everything. She she enjoys making like videos for the family though. Like, she
Awesome.
films us and makes funny videos, but not for the internet, just for us, and it's fun. And whenever she's ready, whatever she wants to work on, that's fine too.
You'll be like, okay, so I understand you want a woodworking channel, but where are you going to hide the capacitor? That's what I got to,
Yeah,
you
you
know.
can't woodwork without a capacitor. What are you talking about?
All right, Mehdi. Thank you so much for taking your time and talking to me today. And I really do hope that whoever, maybe the 1% of my audience that has never heard of you, goes and subscribes, um, because honestly, your content is awesome. And
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, and thanks so much for
No,
come
thanks.
slumming it on this pokey little YouTube channel.
No, yeah, it's always nice to talk to people who like yourself, who are in the electronics field and understand what they're talking about, so we can have a good conversation.
Well, sort of. I know enough to get myself in trouble.
Which is the point.
Yeah, I guess so. And guys, I really do hope you go to Mehdi's channel. I You were saying a video is coming soon, maybe?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm trying to make a video every, like, 2 videos every month. So I was working on another one. This one is a little bit different. I was trying, well, different in the sense that instead of scripting it, I thought to myself, let's wing it and see what happens. So it might be a different feeling. Although I don't script all my videos, like the Italian video. I didn't script it, but So I thought, hey, let's not bug with the script too much. Whatever happens, happens. So, eh,
I'm sure it'll be great.
hopefully.
So yeah, so go onto Mehdi's channel. Make sure you're subscribed not to miss that video. I know I don't miss a single upload, so neither should you. And if you happen to come to go to that video from this podcast, let him know in the comments that you came from the podcast, because then maybe it'll encourage him to come back for a second episode.
Yes, like the sponsors of this video.
Exactly.
Yeah,
No sponsors on the podcast. I
yeah,
make a
no.
good. I think I made. Dave Jones was one of my most popular episodes. I think I made about 86 cents. So
Yay!
rolling in the dough.
Yeah, 86
Thanks.
cents per second would mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, when you get there, then you will be good.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.